Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on the last episode of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. I want to say first of all, thank you for just dealing with my mispronunciation of Hanako-Kun this entire season. I keep saying Hanako, and I know it's drove some of you insane. It has to have drove some of you insane. And for most of you to just completely ignore it and say, let this noob go, she's okay. Because I go back and I go back and watch these episodes, and then I keep hearing Yashiro say, Hanako-Kun, 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 and I'm like, I'm saying it wrong. And I can't help myself. I think I've said Hanako on every single episode, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, it's Hanako-Kun, 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 and then it's like you go to say it, and you're like, Hanako, and you're like, no! So, thank you for putting up with that. And thank you all for just, oh my gosh. Anna Carolina, thank you for getting me into the show. Just so good. I'm so obsessed now. I'm so excited. I hope they make a second season because it's official. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch and react if they make a second season. It's not going to be a poll. It's going to happen. I'm just that dead set on it. Like, I love this show so much. And I really think that I don't think they can sum it up all in one episode. I really don't think they will. I think it'll be one of those things where it has a cliffhanger and they leave us wanting more, and I hope that they come back and give us a second season, because one of the most frustrating things to me is when anime just have one season and it's clear that the manga's still going. Fruits Basket drove me crazy. I'm just now rewatching the 2019, the new Fruits Basket. I watched the original Fruits Basket and I've read the manga. I love it so much. And the original anime was great, but I hated that they just stopped at that one point. And I was like, there's so much more in the manga. And now going back and seeing that they're redoing the show and adding more episodes and more seasons, I'm like, okay, good. And I hope that other anime do that too, because this series has so much potential, and it's so cool in its mystery and its world building, and this combination of cute and creepy and just emotionally charged. It's just really hooked me. And so I've loved this series, and I really, really, really hope that we get a season 2, because I'm going to react to it and I want to watch it with you all. So that being said, before we finalize this last episode of the season, there is a poll down below. There is a poll down below. It is for sports anime. It's going to be the show that replaces this. This is the last week to vote if you've not voted already. And then as for the show replacing Given's officially over for now until we get the movie, or until we get more content, specifically the movie. So the show that's going to replace it is going to debut on Sunday. So I'll give y'all a little spoiler of it in the description down below, but that's going to be it, because I want it to be a surprise. It's probably not going to be a surprise to a lot of you, but we're going to have the show that replaces Given air on Sunday on this channel, and then the show that replaces this is going to come back next Wednesday. So, oh my gosh. When I saw the preview for the last episode, that it was called The Little Mermaid, I just was like, of course we're coming back full circle. We're going to come back, and the last couple of episodes have just been so crazy. Like, Tsukasa has been such an insane addition to this. Mitsuba's still around, only now it's like a Frankenstein Mitsuba that's not really Mitsuba, and is hanging out with Sakura. I'm wondering too, based on the last episode, when Natsuhiko came in and saw them all hanging out, and he said they're multiplying. Did he include Sakura in that as well? Is Sakura a ghost too? Because I've been thinking about that, and some of you brought that up, that it's speculated that Sakura's dead, and that she's just... Because we established that Mitsuba was human, just a ghost, a human that had died and become an apparition. But that human Sakura is now gone, passed on, exorcised, whatever. So I'm wondering if Sakura's bond with Tsukasa is based on the fact that she's died, but she doesn't want to turn into a monster or lose herself or have rumors about her spread that would change her. So that's why she's working with Tsukasa. So I'm really curious what they end up doing with her character. And some of you have commented that we don't exactly know, even in the manga, how Hanako, has died. So, I don't know. I'm really curious what they're going to do in this last episode, and I want y'all to know that episode 9 I hated. I hated the quality. No, I didn't hate the episode. I hated the quality of the episode that I found online. It drove me crazy. I could barely read the subtitles. It was such a frustrating episode to review, and ever since then I've been like trying to find a good episode, and luckily I found a legit last episode that has, I believe, the OP and the ED in it as well. I only know because it's like 24 minutes long, so I'm like, is this the whole thing? Please let it be the whole thing. So, fingers crossed, guys, that I found a good quality episode to round us off on this. But, oh my gosh, this show's been so much fun. And I'm really hopeful that it gets a following more than it has already. Because it's on Viz, so I'm surely they make a season 2. I really hope they do, especially if the manga keeps going and there's more to it. And they have a spin-off of the manga, so you'd think that, I don't know. Things I'm expecting this episode, this series surprises me each week, so I don't know. Sometimes I think things are going to happen and then they completely do a 180 and I'm like, I want Teru to get brought back up one more time because we haven't seen him in a while. I don't think we've seen him since episode 7, so I want to see Teru one more time before we round this out. I wish we could get a little bit more about the Sakura connection with Tsukasa. I wish we could get a little bit more about Amane and Tsukasa, but who knows. And then how we're going to tie back Yashiro and this whole mermaid curse. I don't know. I find it interesting that Natsuhiko and Tsukasa know about the curse, but it doesn't seem like Ko does. That surprises me, so I wonder, is Ko going to find out? I don't know, y'all, but this show, I'm not ready for it to end, but at the same time, I want to dive into this last episode so bad. So, thank you all for coming on this journey with me, for introducing me to the show, and for it being so much fun. We're going to have a season 2, I'm sure, and we're all going to sit down and watch it again when it comes out. So, this is not the end of Hanako-Kun, but it's just the last episode for a little while. That's what I'm telling myself. So, we'll talk a little bit after the episode, but for now, I've rambled enough. I always do this in the last episode because I don't want it to end. So, here we go, guys. Let's see what happens. We are going to start episode 12 of Hanako-Kun. Oh, that was such a good ending, but I still want so much more. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So we've said everything. How can you not have a second season after that? Like, you've set everything up. Like, you've set up. I've noticed in the last half of this season, if going back and going episodes 1 through now, or rather 2 through now, Ko seems like he's matured like so much over this season, and he's still in middle school, which means next year he'll be a first year. But it seems like he's gotten taller and like looks more mature and more like Teru by the end of this season. Like him sitting in there in the classroom by himself, I'm like, he seems so much older. And I like that we've set up Ko's goals in helping Mitsuba and trying to rescue this Frankenstein. Speaking of Frankenstein, we'll talk about that. But the idea of him trying to help Mitsuba, and Teru's like, okay, you can do this, and keeping an eye on, and Teru's keeping an eye on the Yusei, and the Yusei bringing the vegetables. That was cute. But I did not think that they'd address her becoming an apparition. I wanted them to address that this episode, because that seems to be her big conflict, is Hanako is a ghost. You know, what do you do with that? And Yako's even like, yeah, you're not really supposed to, humans and ghosts aren't supposed to mix, so yeah, sure, become an apparition, that'd be great. But I mean, obviously the mermaid was like, no, you'll be my slave. And that part was kind of freaky, but I'm glad that we resolved that. I love that, yeah, Hanako he's a little, he was a middle schooler when he died, so he'd never confessed to a girl before, and a girl never confessed to him, so that's his first time getting confessed to, is by Yashiro, and so her and him are kind of in the same boat. And the fact that he hasn't said it back yet, but he's a ghost, so he really, I'm sure he's like, what is me saying it gonna do? But I love the pinky promise. He's like, I'll tell you everything if you keep being my assistant. And so we get confirmation they did kill Tsukasa. I can't imagine why, like, unless something really terrible has happened. And I'm glad we touched base on Tsuchikamori, him, because I was like, why don't we just ask Tsuchikamori? And Tsuchikamori's like, look, if there's a reason Hanako's not told you about this, it's for a good reason. I'm not going to give away that dirty laundry. That's his business. So I'm glad that Tsuchikamori was at least like, not my business. You can ask him these questions. Tsukasa, that whole thing about like a cult, the Seven Wonders, I'm wondering if he's trying to recreate all the Seven Wonders and making them follow him, because it seems like by making all the Seven Wonders work together, it's gonna like open this gate to hell or something crazy at the school. And maybe that's why Hanako is trying to dissolve the Yashiro, the Seven Wonders, and destroy the Yashiro, because he doesn't want that to happen. And maybe he knows what Tsukasa's planning, and they're just playing this game of checkers back and forth with each other. I want to know more about Sakura. I still think that she's not alive, that she's an apparition too. I like poor Mitsuba. Franken Mitsuba is just like, what do I do? And this whole idea of the Wolfman and Frankenstein and Dracula and all that, I'm wondering if the Seven Wonders are going to mirror like these seven horror creatures, because that kind of seems like that's Tsukasa's plan, because you've got Mitsuba that's basically Frankenstein now. So that's one monster. So like the Wolfman, and you've got, if you're doing vampire, if you're doing like classic horror monsters, then I mean the creature from the Black Lagoon would be the mermaid. So you could definitely do it. Oh, I've not read the manga, so I don't know what ends up, like, what that plan is, but that's so intriguing. And like him just squashing apparitions to make the paint, and oh my gosh, like that was so sweet and just delightfully creepy, and it sets up so much stuff that I'm like, how could you not have a second season with this? I mean, clearly I'm assuming the manga has gone far beyond this at this point, but I love Hanako as a protagonist, because I mean Yashiro is very stereotypical shonen shoujo girl protagonist. Like, she's naive and sweet and kind. She reminds me a lot of Orihime in a way from Bleach. She's just a really sweet character, but she has a really good heart, and can be capable when she's not being, but she's also, like a high school, a freshman girl, so her emotions are all over the place. I love her as a protagonist. Ko, when the show first started, I was like, oh, Ko will be a fun little like foil for Hanako, but Ko has become his own character, and I love his storyline. His storyline with Mitsuba was probably my favorite this season, because it was so emotionally charged. It was just so fleshed out, and he has this drive to stop Tsukasa alongside Hanako, because he's like, I want to save my friend, or what's left of my friend. And I love his character. I want to see how that develops. Teru is still sketchy as all get out, but I like the fact that Teru's like, okay, Ko, you got this. I'm going to leave it to you still. And I'm hoping that if we get a season 2, that Teru investigates more with... I want to see Teru do some exorcising. I want to see Teru as an exorcist, because he's been built up as kind of this more powerful character, and I want to see that. I want to see it so bad. But yeah, Hanako is such a cool protagonist. Like, is instantly likable, is dangerous. That moment where we saw the flashback to the first episode where he's looking at her in the fish tank, I didn't even realize it, but his eyes have that same dead quality that Tsukasa's do. And looking back, you're like, he can be just as scary as Tsukasa. But in episode 9, Tsukasa establishes that him and Hanako are polar opposites. So, I don't know. There's still so much mystery. There's so much that's not been explained, and that's been left up to us, the audience, to figure out if they continue the show. I hope they do, guys. This show, like, the animation has been so unique. The storyline, the mystery that gets brought episode after episode, like, I think it's going to go one way, and then it completely doesn't. The Little Mermaid in reverse this episode, I like that they brought back this whole season. Yashiro has been complaining about her legs. And what do they do this episode? The fish are like, well, you don't have to have them if you're just a fish ghost. We could solve that problem. And just, just that callback was just, it made so much sense. And, oh man, just really, really good. That was a really good finale to the season and set up a lot of things that could come back, and I hope to. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this show with me. Week after week, this show has been so much fun. Like I said, no question, if they make a season 2, I'm going to watch it because this was just too good. It's just too good not to. So if they make a season 2, and I've heard that there's been a lot of rumors that they are, I hope they're true. I hope next year they come out with a season 2 of this show, even if it's still just 12 episodes. We have to watch it because I'm just, it's so good. It's so good. But one more reminder, if you have not voted on the show to replace Hanako-Kun down below, please do. I've made the comment, I'm reading Slam Dunk right now, and Haikyuu's coming back, but those are the only 2 sports anime or sports manga that I've ever read or watched. And I feel like I need to get more under my belt, along with shows like this. So for this poll, we're going to do a sports anime. The suggestions are down below. The show that's replacing Given is not a sports anime, and it's going to start on Sunday. I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm sure you all will be too. If you get a chance, check it out Sunday. It's going to be on the channel, and then I'm going to post episodes a week early on Patreon as well. But for now, we're going to have to sadly say goodbye to Hanako-Kun until season 2 comes. And I think that it's going to come. I really hope it does, because I hope this show gets enough viewings and popularity that it does happen, because it's just worth it. It's so fun, and it's so good, and it's so unique that I really am excited to see where this show goes. And there's so much mystery still. Tsukasa and Amane, I have so many questions and wonderings really, that I'm just excited. So as always, everybody, it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys stick around and see the next 2 shows that I watch along with Haikyuu. And then as far as Given's concerned, when the movie comes out, we're going to react to it as well. And then we're going to come back to this too. So I'm pretty confident. But I hope you guys continue to watch the channel and vote and stick around, and because I enjoy seeing your comments and interacting with you all each week. But as always, stay safe this week. Take care, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.